Hi, this is Brenda. We're going to continue our demonstration of completing a master budget for a retail company. The videos that I have prepared for you prior to this cover, first of all, the cash collection schedule, including the accounts receivable at the end of the period, which will go on the budgeted balance sheet later. Also, the purchasing, which involves determining cost of goods sold, and then two different methods of figuring out the total purchases for the period. Thirdly, we did the schedule for cash disbursements, where we figure out the amount we're going to pay for those purchases each period, and also what the ending accounts payable balance is. And for this video, we're going to look at the selling and administrative schedule, which is the schedule where we record our operating expenses. So we're going to find that information that we want to use over in letter F of our problem, and it tells us that the monthly expenses are salaries and wages, $12,500, rent, $3,600. Those both look like fixed expenses because they're the same each month. It looks like depreciation is too if you read to the bottom of the same letter. And then it tells us that all of the other expenses, not including depreciation, are 8% of our sales. So we're going to need our sales number to start with. Let's scroll up in our problem and we can see our sales here. We only need the 3 months of our period because selling and administrative is always assumed to be cash basis, so we're not going to pay for anything ahead of time or pay for anything after. It's all paid in the same period that it's incurred. So we're going to have $72,000 for April, $73,000 for May, and $84,000 for June. We can sum that. We're going to go ahead and put in our 8%, and we're going to fill that across, and then do the math to multiply those, and again fill that across. And we've accounted for all of our variable expenses. Next, let's put in our rent and our salaries and wages, which are both cash fixed expenses. So we'll put, we can just do a sum, 12,500 plus 3,600, 16,100. And again, we can fill that across because it's the same every month. And we can sum it. We have to tell Excel what range we want. And then let's put in our depreciation. Now remember that this schedule is used for two different purposes. The first purpose is to figure out what amount of operating expenses we have in total, and that is going to go on our income statement later on. And so we're going to add the variable costs in total and the rent, salary, wages, and depreciation. We're going to get a grand total for the period, and these are again, all of the operating expenses. They're going to be going on the income statement. But we also use the schedule for the cash budget, and we know from our financial accounting class that depreciation and sometimes other expenses also are non-cash, and so they need to be adjusted out of the total operating expenses in order to come to the cash selling and administrative. So we're going to do a negative 1,000 here. You could put it in as positive and then do a subtraction, but I want to use a sum, so I'm going to do a negative. And again, I can sum that for the quarter, and then I can just add those two together using the sigma, the sum feature up at the top, and I'm going to get 21,860, and the rest of them. This is the amount again that's going to go to the cash budget. So two important lines on here. One for the income statement that includes all of the costs, and another one for the cash budget that has the non-cash, particularly the depreciation, subtracted out. This concludes the demonstration of the selling and administrative schedule. If you have other questions, contact your instructor, and I encourage you to watch the other videos to familiarize yourself with those schedules as well.